Here we are again with another top 5 ranking series, and this is going to be a very different one because this one is going to be very biased in my opinion. So basically, let's get into it.
Number 14.
Seeing a little bit of a rise because of the fallen missions we have is the Sledger. The Sledger has always been one of my favorite towers in the entire game, specifically in the melee category, because I mean, like, the amount of damage this guy does, but also the slowness he does, and well, let's not forget, his armor is pretty solid, especially when he has like the skeleton thing, which is, I mean, the only like good-ish skin for him. But then there was a whole phantom skins, and now there is a fallen skin, which I'm currently working for, and it's not that bad, quite honestly. What makes this guy one of my favorite towers in the entire game? Because of just how satisfying every single hammer attack feels. Don't get me wrong, the brawler's slash attack is also very solid, especially the fallen one. He literally looks like he's ripping them apart, but this Sledger's like hammer slam against them is super satisfying, especially when you get to like the parts of his upgrade levels when he starts dealing a shitload of damage and freezing multiple enemies at once. And if you have just a bunch of Sledgers just all grouped together, or at least in a very close proximity, no enemies are gonna get past, because I mean, they're gonna be very slow, then they're gonna be freezing, and then literally they are, well, being lasered by all the other DPS towers. And one of the greatest things about the Sledger's freezing abilities, instead of slowing them down, is once frozen in kind of like an ice cube, they aka will take double the more damage for the next few seconds as they are like in the frozen capsule thing, which makes it such a great DPS tower to, well, slow the enemies down, but also just to, well, deal a decent amount of damage and freeze them all down.
Number 12.
Raining hellfire from above is gonna be in the number 4 spot. The mortar is one of my favorite cliff towers in the entire game, or probably even is my most favorite, because I mean, like, shooting down missiles from the sky is pretty fucking awesome. No matter how you see it, it is great to be able to take out many enemies in a row, or at least all grouped together, that deals a crap load of damage. And well, let's not forget, at the second to last upgrade, every single bomb attack now unleashes some cluster bombs to finish off any enemies, you know? And then finally at max, that deals even more damage, and this guy is just generally so much fun to actually use. But what's even more fun is to switch the favorite target type to randoms, and this is for all 4 mortars, at least in a close proximity, and this is where the max fun begins to play with these guys. Because since there are so many bombs flying in the air, crashing down, explosions happening all over the path, or at least battlefield as you could say, that literally it just feels so satisfying when there's so many enemies that are like all one after another in a line, at least running, and then all of a sudden most of them are gone within a second, and then just finally they're just all gone within the next second. It's just so satisfying just to see a bunch of mortars raining hellfire, doing explosions, cluster bombs. More satisfying is placing every other mortar on every other different building or on a different platform. However, the mortar has been seeing a decline, mainly because of the rework for the Ranger, and then there was also the reworked Fallen thing. So this guy has been not that good compared to the Ranger, but to me, he will always be the top dog.
Number 7.
Just like being middle part of my loadouts, he is now the third part of ranking thing. And this is the DJ. The DJ has always been one of the greatest and most crucial supporting towers in the entire game, mainly because of his benefits he gives to many other towers in a pretty large proximity. So as an example, or let's just go ahead and name them too, first off, increased range attacks. But the really cool part of this range thing is that it also applies to melees and other support towers. And then there is like the commander whose rate of fire speed buff is also increased, so that is also very amazing. And not only that, but this guy becomes even more powerful as like the DJ, because he gives a 20%, I believe, upgrade prices decreased, and this makes it much more satisfying and much more affordable to many of the upgrade prices that range from being a few thousand to just around 30,000 34,000. I mean, the max accelerator's upgrade price is 34,000, I believe, or 32,000. I can't even remember since it's been that long ago since I haven't used DJ. All the way down to 27,000. That is a massive stretch. Compared to all the other support towers, this guy is honestly very amazing. And the reason why I'm making this video as in the top 5 rankings of my favorite towers is because DJ is also going to be reworked sometime soon. And Jesus Christ, the Nico DJ looks shit. But either way, hopefully they aren't too harsh on my boy and I will still use them, hopefully after this update.
This is what anime does to you, kids.
Number 18.
Into the number 2 spot we have is actually a tie. This is the Golden Cowboy and the Golden Crook Boss. And I know you guys are already looking at me like I'm fucking physically insane already. Like, who else is actually using the Golden Crook Boss nowadays? Well, the only person using him is me. His damage that he actually does is quite fucking good. And then when you actually max him out, he is a lot more powerful. And well, let's not forget of how many minions that just come out of the hole and just assist, mainly damage any enemies that are escaping. This guy is just generally a very good underrated tower in my opinion, and has kind of been seeing a little bit of a rise, but not really. But I really like to use them, and now let's not forget, this golden design is really nice, and I'm all about that golden stuff. Bonus points he gets is while using a Tommy gun. As you all know, my favorite weapon is the Tommy gun in every single game because it's just so fucking lit. But anyway, let's get into the Golden Cowboy. I'm pretty sure everyone nowadays is using the Cowboy, mainly because, I mean, like, the amount of money you get, the amount of damage he does. He's just generally a very, very good starting tower, or maybe even starting to mid to all the way to the end of the game tower. He's just generally a very good DPS tower, and the amount of money you get is also pretty substantial, and the more you upgrade him, the much more damage, and much more amazingly, the much more money he actually gives to the player. And holy crap, I really like to use the Cowboy. His damage and money is amazing, and well, the Cowboy with the Crook Boss is always a pretty nice combo.
Number 1.
Check this out.
I'm pretty sure that this is an obvious one, but this is the Excel. Nah, I'm just kidding. The Golden Minigunner. And I know you guys are already looking at me like, how the hell is the Minigunner your favorite and not the Accelerator? Now, don't get me wrong, the Accelerator is a very, very strong tower and is quite honestly one of a lot of people's favorites. However, one tower that has always been my favorite is the Minigunner. Ever since I saw this guy, I knew that I needed him.
Hey, yo, what the?
And not only that, but he also has a golden variant, which makes him even more stronger. And not only that, but he has also gotten recently buffed to where he literally does like what, 10 times more damage. He used to do like, I believe 11 DPS at max. Now he does 25 if memory serves right, which is an insane amount. Now that does mean that his upgrade prices are a little bit more costly, especially the final upgrade, which went from 10k all the way up to 19,000 with DJ. I don't know how much it is without DJ, since who the fuck isn't using DJ? But either way, this guy does insane amount of damage. Now he has gotten recently buffed, and even before he even got buffed, he was still my most favorite and used tower, because I mean, like, come on, look at this damage he does. And with Commander, he does even more DPS. Now obviously my favorite loadout to run is Farm, Cowboy, DJ, Crook Boss, and then finally the Minigunner. And this is just maximum DPS for, you know, a golden type of loadout. And I've always had a fashion for large LMGs, or, you know, a literal minigun, so that also earns some bonus points for the Minigunner. And I just really love to use really big guns and stuff like that, so this guy is completely my style, and forever in this game, the Minigunner will always be my most favorited tower.